Hello, you are tuning in to AWANI Review with me, Cynthia Ng. This is a show where we speak to leaders and decision makers shaping the future of business and the society. Now, it is my pleasure today to welcome Adam Yee to our studio. Adam is the CEO and President of Siemens Malaysia. Siemens is, of course, one of the largest industrial manufacturing companies in Europe, and they do so much more exciting things, which Adam is going to walk us through a bit later in the show. Great to have you here, Adam. Thank you so much for coming to our studio.
Thank you very much. Thanks for inviting me for this interview. Thank you.
I think, Adam, when we spoke in person, the last time was about half a year ago. Then after that, we had the third nationwide MCO.
Yes.
While many businesses were still coping with the impact of the pandemic, I understand that Siemens Malaysia had an outstanding performance actually in 2021, double-digit growth in the first half. Talk to us, what's driving this?
I think this is a fantastic, if I put it in this way, is also something that we do not expect such a spike, and also, as you said about the third MCO happened in the middle of the year, and we seriously have a lot of issues rising because of the supply chain. However, the industry is picking up very fast, especially, many companies, they realize that digitalization and automation is one of the key factors for them to grow, for them to stay relevant in this market. So I think a lot of manufacturing sector, especially some of the manufacturing sector, is actually doing quite well. They are, for example, like E&E industry or the rubber and glove industry are doing fantastically well for this year. So we are one of the leading company who are providing the solution and supply the equipment as well as the components to those industry. And our customer is actually mainly in the manufacturing sector and also in the process industry sectors. So these are the two sectors is really contributing a lot. Not only that, we also do have some of the expansion projects running, like for example in the port industry, they are doing the retrofitting. They are also modernize their equipment, make sure that they are be able to cope with the demand. Especially when you look at now in the world, the logistics is one of the key element and also key support function for the whole entire industry.
If there's one silver lining I know from this pandemic is that it shows us the importance to digitalize, to move into automation,
yes,
to do things smarter, quicker, with
faster, yes,
faster, maybe with less human even. That is what I want to talk about, because to the average Malaysian consumer, when you mention the name Siemens, people think it's just industrial manufacturing, but you guys do so much more than that. Energy system, asset management, automation, of course. If you can give us an overview of Siemens' business operations and capabilities in Malaysia.
In fact, if you ask about in the public, people talk about Siemens as a brand, people only remember Siemens is a mobile manufacturer.
That's right.
We are producing mobile many years ago, but we are no longer have this focus anymore. The business was already carved out. We used to also one of the communication supplier in providing the solution for communication, but that business is also carved out. So for over the past 10 to 20 years, Siemens have defined a very clear objective, where we are heading and what sort of technology that we are providing to the industry. We are focusing very much on electrification, which is supplying the power energy to our industry. Then the second part is automation. As I mentioned just now, we did a lot of automation. We are one of the leading company doing for automation for the industry. And last but not least, digitalization, which is currently is a trend for digitalization, because we do see that data management and data will become a new resources for us. So digitalization is no longer an option for everyone. So I give you a very simple example. Even we start up with the digitalization. Digitalization have to start from your internal. So how are you going to make sure that your processes is more effective, more efficient, reducing the manual work? How you make sure that you have less paper, you have have green, supporting the green and sustainability for the future. So these are the few things that we are looking at for Siemens. As one of the a leading electronic and electrical company in Malaysia. Siemens, actually, we do support a lot of nation building project. For example, like we also support the project for MRT line. We do the ECRL from airport connect to city, as well as we do the smart meter support one of the utility company over here to supply the smart meter, and that's really giving a good transparency and also more efficiency that we can drive for our future. With this digitalization initiative, that we see there's a potential for Malaysia to become a smart nation, getting more transparent and be able to optimize the resources. I hope that we are not so much relying on foreign labor, that we have automation who can support this. And of course, there's a lot of misunderstanding in the market. People are concerning about cost.
Right.
Yeah, cost is always an issue for any entrepreneur or any startup company. Of course, you need to know what is your journey that you want to drive, where you want to heading for. It doesn't mean that if you want to venture into digitalization, you need to spend a big sum of money to do that. Actually, you can go by stages. First step, what you need to pinpoint, you need to know about your company. What is the main topic that you need to address? Then slowly from that, every step you make, you take the return and then you reinvest again. And this is what we call it a digitalization journey. It is not a one-time project, you do it and the next day it's completed. Not at all. The digitalization is actually Industry 4.0 is a journey. It will take maybe another 10 to 20 years to go. And just now we talk about infrastructure, we also talk about 5G. I think 5G is also one of the important backbone for the whole industry revolution. Without the 5G backbone, there are many emerging technology we are not able to facilitate. For example, like autonomous, as I mentioned just now. We see that cutting edge technology for 3D printing is also one of the new technology that you can produce a lot of things with the customization and according to the consumer needs.
Siemens is in a very unique position because you are essentially providing the nuts, the bolts and the screws for digitalization to happen and the systems in place. When you speak with companies coming to you and say that, hey, I need to digitalize, we know that it's no longer a luxury, but you need it to survive.
Yes.
What is the conversation? What are Malaysian manufacturers, for instance, facing when it comes to moving ahead with digitalization?
Actually, there are a few topics that we need to address. First of all is most of the feedback I got is there are lack of people, talent, who understand about the digitalization. That's why I know that many government agencies, I know that a lot of institutions trying to facilitate this kind of readiness assessment, trying to help them to identify what is the pain point, trying to understand about their business, about their challenges. And then from there, they're trying to design and try out to put up some program and also the blueprint, how you're going to speed up the whole process of digitalize or maybe you can adoption of those technology to support your business. Because at the end of the day, the most important point is to drive the business output.
Right.
So you do whatever investment, first thing you need to think about what is the return of investment. So you do this investment, this will definitely going to bring you a business return. And then from there, you can further invest on your journey. Second part is also to address the talent issue. This is where Siemens want to play one of the role over here to do the upscaling. We work with the local university to tackle those undergraduate people who are still studying in university, but we are focusing more on the Malaysia Technical Institution, more on the vocational. So we put our program, our syllabus on automation, mechatronics, and also some other AI topics into the university and put in their syllabus in the bachelor degree so that the graduate or the undergraduate be able to learn about what is the future of automation, what the future of digitalization. This is one part. The second part is also we are trying to build the high talent. We also work with Skill Development Center. We just recently signed the MOU with Selangor State Government for the STTC, Selangor Technical Development Center. What we're trying to do there is actually we want to bring our program, our automation program, and also mechatronic program to SDCC to help them, to support them on setting up this skill development for the existing workforce. And of course, this is not only meant for Selangor only alone, but of course, this is driven and initiated by the Selangor state government. But I think that is a very good initiative because I think that will really help to develop and also upskill the existing workforce.
That's very interesting because this is primarily driven by the corporate sector, trying to fix the talent mismatch gap that the industry is facing across different sectors.
Yes,
I
correct.
think, I mean, we can agree on that. Shortage of skilled talents is not something that is unique to Malaysia. A lot of other countries are facing similar issues, right? But I think this question here is that how can Malaysia step up, put the foot on the pedal so that we are competitive? Looking at news headlines recently, and you see how multinationals, for instance, global multinationals are, perhaps I would say, skipping Malaysia to go to other places for investment.
Mm-hmm.
Is talent an issue here with that decision making?
I think the issue here is not just because of talent. I think Malaysia, we do have a lot of talented people, specifically on certain industry. For example, like in E&E, I think we are quite well established from the past. You know that we have many foreign investment to Malaysia, in Penang, in Malacca, in KL. There are many foreign investments setting up the plant over here. Over the years, they have developed a lot of skilled people. And what we need to address is just only to upskill, how we're going to bring all this new technology to be in this place. I think the other factor from the foreign investment, whether they want to put it in Malaysia or they put it in some other places, they have to consider about the cost. They have to consider about the strategically, about the location where they want to see. If I'm a company who are doing electronic, I will first think about Malaysia and Singapore because we do have this kind of industry already booming, and then there's a lot of people, skilled people. There's a full of resources network within the country. So other factor than that is I think cost is one of the key driver. Secondly, also I think the government support is also one of the key topics here. The stability of the economy, stability of the politics, and also the support from the incentive people who are investing over here. I think this is also a key message that we hope that I believe our government agency have putting a lot of effort to trying to attract more investors to come to Malaysia, and we do see that over the past few months, there's a lot of new company who wanted to set up a plant over here in Malaysia. That is a good sign for us, and hope that this will continue.
I do really want to hone in on the aspect of talent because as an industry leader in terms of industrial manufacturing and digitalization, pushing for automation, how are you facilitating the technology and knowledge transfer in terms of IRR 4.0? Because we know that Siemens is a German company, it's a multinational company, but when we talk about building local talents, we want to move up the value chain eventually. We want to take higher paying, higher skilled jobs. Is Malaysia ready for it?
I would say that we are working on it. Yeah,
Okay.
I would say that we are working on it because I said, it cannot be only come from Siemens alone. Yeah, we are the company who are producing the automation products and solutions. We do have our automation mechatronic kind of program that we are running, but that is not all about Industry 4. Yeah, Industry 4 is many of involvement on other topics, and as I said again, we do need to have a dynamic collaboration model. And this dynamic collaboration model have to come together with all the industry players to work together on a topic and trying to facilitate one of the key topics and program that we can run for for the industry, for the Malaysian players or Malaysian engineers. And this thing, that's why we work with STTC, why we work with MIDA, and why we work with MTUN, because they are the facilitator. Because if I go and do it for myself, because we are not the institution of providing training, we are actually a solution provider. But those companies, like those agencies, like also University, right? They are actually the facilitator. They are the one who can unite everyone. Because if we go there, then people think that Siemens want to sell something. But in fact, we are not selling anything. We are actually trying to facilitate. We're trying to help and support this industry. As you said, we have to bring our people into the next level. How are we going to do that if we don't have a platform or excellence center to really can facilitate all kinds of topics that can support for in this industry? So this is what is the reason when I set up the concept of this SIRTC, the Siemens Innovation and Resources Training. The concept was to think about, am I going to build a SIRTC by myself to facilitate everything? I think it's not possible. Right. I can't do that. So the only chance that we can do is we collaborate with all these important industry players, government agency, university, technical institution. These are the idea of what we have. Yeah. And of course, for long run, in the next 5 to 6 years, of course, this is what we aim, that the engineer who are graduate from university, they will be having this knowledge, the skill and knowledge from what we are providing to them as a program. So that they, in the future, when they come up to the industry, they won't feel that they have a big gap here. A lot of companies, they struggle to get people.
Right, yes.
It is not because they don't have people. There's a lot of graduates. Every year we have new graduates. But the challenge is they don't get the right people, the right skill. And this is what we're trying to do, to bridge between the industry and the university graduate.
Where do you think are the biggest potential for Malaysia in terms of IR 4.0 as we are heading there? And where should we invest in heavily now?
We need to invest. There are many topics that, depending on the whole, you look at the whole Malaysia, on the whole Malaysia GDP, where is the support is coming from. And over the past 2 years during the pandemic, you see that manufacturing sector is actually quite significant and quite very important to support this.
But we don't want to be just a low-cost player in the manufacturing sector.
So you're right. At the moment, what we see that in Malaysia on the manufacturing sector, we are very much on the back end. We are not on the front end, meaning that we are actually a production we are the consumer. We are producing the end product, but we do have, but it's not significant. We need to have more R&D. They have more new own products. We should look forward and look into a new high-tech kind of investment rather than go on the cost basis. Yeah, yep. That is not really going to support our nation building for long run. We cannot be always think about cheap. We also have to think about what is quality, what is sustainable.
And this is why I had asked earlier about technology transfer, knowledge transfer, because I know that within Siemens, there is an active measure put in place to facilitate that transfer to local talents.
We did quite a number of programs in the country. And of course, our resources is limited, and also we're trying to do more, but unfortunately, this is not really something that we could do more, because this is not our core business by having the upscaling. Our core business is we are the solution provider, we are the product supplier. However, we do see that is necessary for us to really look into the long run, how we can transfer the knowledge to our next generation, so that in the near future, they are using Siemens. This is also, I have to be honest to that. Of course. That is the main reason for that. And secondly, we also trying to do some this kind of intern program to students to come in and trying to train them. After train them, usually after they graduate, we hire them back. This is what we do, because I think this is the most effective way of getting the best resources for us. and working with other agency and also institution that is also supporting the student and also the young engineer to be more competitive in the future.
Which leads me to my next question, whereby I would like to switch gears a little to talk about you. What's very impressive, of course, is you are Siemens Malaysia's first local CEO. So when I talk about local talent, that's where I'm coming from. A major accomplishment. We want to know, what is your focus here for the foreseeable future for Malaysia's operations?
I think this is a very good question, especially when I was appointed as a first local country CEO. It was quite, I think the expectation is quite high, so that because I am a local, supposedly I should know better than anyone about the local market and the local requirement. And the next 4 or 5 years, what we need to really to tell our headquarter, our Siemens company, that what Siemens Malaysia can do and what is our Siemens Malaysia story, about the success story about Siemens Malaysia. And for that, we keep going with this to support the nation building, supporting the upskilling. We do a lot of CSR as well. We also supporting we want to bring our brand back to the industry, because a lot of people are started already forgotten who is Siemens, what they are doing. And we are actually one of the leading cutting-edge technology solution provider. This is what we are presenting ourselves as an engineering company. So we do electrification, automation, and digitalization. And Industry 4 is our key topics. Smart city, smart infrastructure, rail transportation is our key topic. We also do a lot of automation for the baggage handling for KLIA. We also did smart building for KLCC. KLCC is one of our reference. So I need to have this kind of continuity for our future, so that we can further continue to support and also continue to make every single footprint in this country that we are one of the important country in this world. I have to let people see that we are actually have a lot of potential in Siemens in Malaysia.
That's a big responsibility.
There's a big responsibility. It's putting a lot of pressure on me, but I think that is actually is one of my passion as well.
And I think your appointment
Malaysia
as CEO, the first local CEO, is a testament that we have the talent and,
yes,
and training, works and transfer of knowledge. All this are so crucial in an organization.
Yes, exactly. And develop the local talent is one of the important measures, because if you want to look for sustainability for long run, and this is how it should be, because nowadays people are talking about sustainability, talking about greens, talking about how we support the nation towards the developed country. So I think that is actually important for everyone to understand, and I hope that all the Malaysians should believe, we are having this potential in this region. Especially Malaysia is one of the countries who are sitting in the center of the whole Asia. We do have resources. We have multiracial. We don't have a problem of language. Some countries, they have an international language issue because they cannot communicate broadly in English, for example. Malaysia this is what the advantage that we have, and we can even bridge between the west and to the east. And
well, certainly that's the appeal of Malaysia, and we just need to ramp up on talent, especially when it comes to preparing our talent for high-skilled jobs. Just one final question, Adam. I mean, you're in the business of automation, future technologies. What are you most excited about in terms of innovations that we can expect maybe in a couple of years' time from Siemens?
We just mentioned, did I mention about it? I didn't think. So we just signed the memorandum of understanding with Module System to build to develop and build the automated guided vehicle, the AGV. So this is our first step.
And it's for factories, right?
Yeah, that's for serving for the factory.
Okay, right.
It can be serving for any other application. But that is the first step for us to use to team up together with the local entrepreneur and the technology provider together with us, that we can facilitate this prototype. I hope that this will be a successful project for us, for the coming years. And then we do have our first Malaysian AGV, for this industry.
All right.
That's one of the key things that we need to look into that. Secondly, also, we are actually involved a lot of cybersecurity.
That's new to me, cybersecurity.
Cybersecurity is one of the key topics. Yeah, we do have some successful story. We do have a successful trial and also projects with good reference. Now we're trying to further accelerate, further extend it. How we can put this cybersecurity as one of the key topics for the industry, especially in the manufacturing industry.
Right.
I think in the consumer market, you see everywhere you have a cybersecurity, you have virus security and all this. But in the industry, this is something that we need to address. And also it's a major concern for everyone. If you want to adopt into Industry 4, you want to use 5G backbone, what is the most concern for the next step besides cost? Security. Your data. Because all this data is a valuable data. How are you going to transform the value data become this business output for you?
This is where digital asset management comes in.
Yes, exactly. And cybersecurity is one of the key, is one of the most important element that we need to make sure that this element is secure, that you don't have any risk on this. The moment when you see this risk, then you will start to pull back. You will think about, oh, I want to have my own server. I want to have everything by myself. The acceptance in Malaysia about the cloud solution is still very hesitate. So of course, there are many substitution and some other areas we can look into. For example, cybersecurity or edge computing kind of a solution. There's alternate. There's something that we can do for the next coming years. Right. But I believe sooner or later, this will become a real thing.
Right. Very interesting stuff that Siemens Malaysia is doing, and best of luck to you, Adam. I think you're doing a fantastic job, evidently, from the performance that we are seeing. Thank you so much for coming on the show, and we look forward to speaking with you again.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
You have been tuning in to AWANI Review with me, Cynthia Ng. We'll see you again in the next episode.